Chalo, now let's start with the thing. So first off, let's start with like, tell the audience about your story. Like, who are you? How did you, like, I remember I was reading up about you and Ismail, like it was written, you were, you were in an NGO, like working in the PR team, and now you're in growth marketing. Like, how did that transition happen? What's going on?
Yeah, so starting from my childhood, right? So since my childhood, I wanted to become a CA. Like when I say childhood, in 10th, 11th, 12th, I thought I'll become a CA, right? And that is what I had thought of. And those were the only options. I had chosen commerce. So I had chosen commerce as a stream. And then I had only three options, either be CA, CS or a failure, because that is what I was aware of, right? I was not exposed to any other option by my parents or the society. And then when I went to Delhi to my college, I realized there is a world beyond CA. There is so much I can do, which I was not aware of. And at that time, I thought I started speaking to people, and that made me realize I don't want to be a CA anymore, right? And then the question was, then what? What's next? And that is when I became lost. I started exploring and thinking what I can be, right? And at that time, I started exploring and experimenting with a lot of things, which I didn't know how it will help me in the future, but the intent was just to figure out what I like. So I started learning design, video editing, event management, public speaking, calligraphy,
Wow.
and a lot of things, just because I was curious and I wanted to learn. And in the process, I learned one thing: you will only know what you want in life when you figure out who you are and what do you like. And the process that I learned was experiment and meet a lot of people. When you experiment a lot of things, you realize what you actually like and what you don't like. And when you meet a lot of people, that opens up your mind and help you see the things that you thought never existed. For example, if you never meet a writer who is doing well, you'll never dream of becoming a writer, right? Why a lot of people started to think of becoming a creator, because they saw a lot of people becoming creator, right? So at that time, I started meeting a lot of people. In every event I used to go to, I used to talk to the speaker, what did they do and how did they do in their journey. So that process of exploration helped me figure out that I am more interested in other things as opposed to finance. And the question at that time I asked when I went to college, and at that time when I was thinking of becoming a CA, a question I asked was, I visualized myself 5 years, 10 years down the line. And I thought, do I want to do this thing 5 years, 10 years down the line? And the answer that I got was no. I knew I can do it well, but I don't want to. That's when I started experimenting, and I became part of an NGO. And in that place, I started doing marketing. Though I was doing PR, I was like, as a title, I had PR, but I was doing brand marketing and brand design and social media marketing, all of that. That helped me, explore marketing. And just because I had learned design, I was able to get into this because I had design skills. So I started into social media marketing. And simultaneously in that process, I was learning management consulting. I wanted to, explore that also as an option in my college.
How are you learning management consulting? Like, what's happening there?
Yeah, so for the internships and college placements, like people used to start prepare watching videos. How do you solve case problems, case studies, all of that. So in my college also, there were only two options for career, either in the finance side, investment banking, all of that, or become a management consultant, get into Bain, BCG, McKinsey, all of that. So after finance, I thought in my college to get the placement, management consulting is the option. But side by side, I was exploring. So it was like an A/B test for me. I'm doing social media and marketing, and I'm learning consulting so that I can get internship and placement. And in that process of A/B testing, I figured out that I'm falling in love with the process of marketing. Right? And that made me realize, all right, even though there is no assistance from the college to make a career in marketing, since I love it, I will figure out a way.
Exactly.
So that's how I got into marketing, right? And then the journey from being in the PR team to growth marketing, it was, as I said, even when I was in the PR team, I was doing more than that. I was handling PR, brand, marketing, social media campaigns, and all of that. And that made me fall in love with the marketing. I was doing the creative side of the marketing, like designing campaigns and all of that. And that is when I realized I want to, get into the data side and growth side. And I don't know if you know, during that time, I also did few social entrepreneurial ventures, grew them.
Okay.
That made me realize I'm interested.
Like you grew like couple of companies from 0 to 6 figures.
Yeah. Those were small startups and businesses, but that made me realize I love business, I love growth.
Like what industries were those startups?
So those were in social entrepreneurship ventures. The first one was named as Arogya.
Okay.
Right. It was a supply chain model where we were solving the problem of menstrual hygiene. Right. In slums and underprivileged areas, 66% of the women are still not aware of, menstrual hygiene and sanitary napkins. So we built a supply chain model where we were, helping these women to get these things, to become aware, to get these things at a affordable price and not fall sick and have diseases because of this. And that was the first thing. The second was in India, we are known for our art, culture and heritage and the art forms that we have. And in that time, I realized there is a problem where the pottery as an art, which is 20,000 years old, is dying. And the potters are leaving that job because they are not able to earn a lot. Right. So in that, the name of that product and the project was Revayat, right? Reviving the art. That was the thing. And it was in that reviving the pottery art. That was the second one. And the third one, which was completely non-profit, it was not was to generate money or income, but it was in the education, which I'm still connected to. It is very close to my heart. And in that, the name was Dream Library.
Got it.
And the intent was to help the underprivileged children to have fundamental education, where we were setting up libraries in these rural areas and help them, learn and educate themselves.
Damn cool, man. Like, I mean, when you were saying all these things, I could relate to my journey as well. Like, I got into engineering, but although I knew like I could do well and stuff, I was like, no, this is not something I want to do. And right from my first semester, I started doing like all sorts of things: sales, marketing, getting into events, etc. And then finally, via my this in college, I got into this thing with that a sales role, but I was like, nah, I'm not doing this. Did a course in digital marketing and changed my whole stream. So I completely get what you're saying. Like, I mean, do something, dabbling in all sorts of stuff, and then like finding what you like and doing that. And you can only do that by exposing yourself to many things.
Exactly.
Right? So, I mean, that's something that I think all students should do as well. Like, not just stick to one particular thing. I know, like today I was having a discussion with a friend. There's a saying, right? Jack of all trades, but master of none. But people just stop there usually. The quote is actually a little more after that. But the quote is Jack of all trades, master of none. But it's good to be a master of many things rather than one. That's the whole quote. So it's good to expose yourself to all sorts of to different things and know a little bit of many things rather than just one thing and you're like stuck to that. Unless you expose yourself, you won't really know what to do.
Nice. And that applies to becoming a growth marketer as well, right? The person who can become a growth marketer has to be T-shaped marketer.
Yeah.
Which means you need to know little bit of everything and then have a depth of knowledge of one thing. That's how you become a growth marketer.
Yeah.
And it connects to life in a way that I learned that you can't be if you can't see, right? If you never meet an entrepreneur, you will never want to be an entrepreneur, right? If you never see a skill like designing, you would never want to be.
Yeah.
So that process of exploration helps you see things, and that changes your reality and what you want to be.
True. And now let's come to the next thing. Like, what about marketing? Like, you mentioned you fell in love with marketing. Like, what about marketing that got you excited? Like, why do you like marketing? Why marketing?
Yeah. So in my childhood, I used to do modern painting and art. So I was always very creative. I was very good with numbers and maths. So I used to love maths and numbers. I love to tell stories and hear stories. So I love storytelling, right? I love to understand human and human behavior. So I was very much into human psychology and understand people. And I have always been very observational. Now, tell me one profession which involves creativity, love for numbers, storytelling, and human psychology. It is marketing.
Yeah.
And that is why I love this. helps me do things which I'm naturally good at and I naturally love. So that is the reason.
So it all fell into place, right?
Yes.
And like, what excites you about your role in growth school? Like, what exactly is your role, first of all? And because growth marketing, the term growth marketing, growth hacking and everything is like, it's a buzzword, right? And not many people understand it. Like, so just explain to the viewers what exactly is growth marketing, growth hacking, and what do you do in growth school, and how do you drive impact in the business?
I'll start with what I do at Growth School.
Okay.
So I've been part of Growth School from the time it was just an idea from day zero. So my role has evolved as the company has evolved. It started with two people. It was Vaibhav and me. So for the first 5 months of Growth School journey, it was just two people, Vaibhav and me. So at that time, my role was entrepreneur in residence, where I was doing everything under the sun. Like an entrepreneur, you both were doing everything: marketing, content, community, operations, you name it, I have done that.
Wow.
Right? So that was exciting, right? It was building a startup from zero. It was exciting. So that was my role when we were 2-member team. My role evolved when we grew from 2 to 50. At that time, I was building and launching programs, right? The program that we do at Growth School. So from launching to building and growing them, that was my role. And after that, when we grew and I playbooked all of those processes, I realized I need to solve better problems. I moved to growth and new initiatives team, where what I do is I build and improve acquisition channels and revenue streams. I launch products and build growth loops for constant growth of the business. So that has been
growth loops as well.
Yeah, growth loop is something that helps a company grow consistently. For example, there's an input, something happens and a user does something, right? And because of that, something happens which again results in like your acquisition or something. I'll give you an example. For example, MailChimp, right? You go to MailChimp, new customer, that makes person, let me explain with type form, right? It will be easier to understand. Everyone uses forms, right? So you sign up for type form, you make a new form, you share it with other person, and that person sees it is made by type form, right? At bottom. That person explores type form, like that is a loop. I'll give you another example. So loop is very important for consistent growth of any business, and at Growth School also we run multiple loops. For example, there is a learner loop, like UGC loop, we call that, which means any person who comes into Growth School and start learning, does workshop, any program, we make sure that person is speaking about what they are learning. Now what happens is, one person comes and sign up for the workshop, that person learns something and shares his or her learning on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Right? Now, other people on LinkedIn see he learned something. Where did he learn it from? That person signs up for Growth School workshop or gets to know about it. This is a loop. The other loop that we run is mentor loop. Okay. Right? A mentor, for example, Rakshit is a mentor to teach about marketing at Growth School. Right? You come, you create a course, and we help the mentor talk about it on social media. Mentor creates a post. Other people see it and see where he's teaching at. Right, they get to know about Growth School and more mentors come in.
Got it.
Right? So those are the loops, like you do certain things, people get to know, and that results in bringing new users.
Got it. And like, I mean, how would you define growth marketing and growth hacking? Like, what?
Yeah. So growth hacking is kind of a subset of growth marketing. Growth marketing is broad, right? It is more structured and systematic, while growth hacking is Jugadu marketing, right? Growth hacking is Jugadu marketing, and growth marketing is a full funnel, data-driven marketing based on rapid experimentation. Now, growth hacking has some negative connotations as well. And the reason for that is it has the word hacking, right? In the tech word, hacking is understood as you are doing something wrong. You are doing something black hat. Right? That is why it has, negative connotation. But the difference is in terms of how you do it and what is the scope. So growth marketing focuses on more systematic approach, which is more structured and focuses on long-term growth, while growth hacking focuses on short-term growth. And the goal is to find creative, innovative and unorthodox ideas to do certain things so that you can get quick growth.
Got it.
Right? So growth marketing helps in long-term growth, growth hacking helps in short-term growth. And if a growth hack is scalable, then it becomes a growth loop.
Okay.
right? Helps in consistent growth.
Yeah, consistent growth, and that's how it becomes a growth.
Yes.
Nice. And you mentioned this thing was that you mentioned you grew 2 startups from 0 to 6 figures, right? Like, I mean, Arogya and
Revayat.
Revayat.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Like, I mean, how do you grow it? Like, what were your strategies? Like, if you could like boil it down, and if you could tell the viewers as well, like,
Yeah.
what exactly did you do?
So firstly, at that time, we do not had a lot of money and resources. So everything was built frugally and with whatever we had, and by spending like no money actually, no paid marketing. So what we did was rely on organic channels, right? At that time, I did a lot of social media marketing, movement marketing, and a lot of campaigns to spread the word and leverage word of mouth. So that is what we did, right? Relied on social media marketing and campaign online and offline, and like make people aware and make people talk about it.
Yeah.
So in all the projects, whether it was Arogya, Revayat, and Dream Library, focused on that. At that time, I also did something very interesting for that, which was making a brand jingle. Like you must have heard about pharmacy, take it easy, pharmacy. We made it for Arogya, right? It went like, आरोग्य रहने का इरादा है, खुद से किया ये वादा है, अब हर घर स्वस्थ रहेगा, आरोग्य ही चुनेगा, मिलकर हम सब बदलेंगे, मिलकर हम सब बढ़ेंगे, मुस्कान होगी हर चेहरे पर, आरोग्य का वादा है.
Wow, you wrote that?
We as a team like wrote that and made it into a song, and we used to play it everywhere. In every slum we used to go to make them remember it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And the way we made it, the tune and the music was very catchy, and like you hear about pharmacy and you keep singing that, like that it was. So those were the creative things we did, which helped. Even did fundraising, since we do not had, so made a video which is relatable to people, right, to raise funds. So all of those jugards and things which can be done without a lot of money, we did to scale it.
I mean, like, if you would say like if a person wants to grow a social entrepreneurship like company, a small business that he's trying to grow, what are some things that you would say like he or she should focus on?
Yes, the one thing is rely on organic channels. Like I said, try to be present on social media, make people aware online, offline in a cost-effective manner. That is one. Second is focused on collaboration in partnership. In growth word, it is called OPN, other people's network, right? For example, I am at 40,000 followers and you are at 100k followers, right? And if I can build a partnership with you and collaborate with you, I am getting access to your network, which will help me drive certain growth. Right? So if you are small, you should also focus on partnerships and collaboration so that you can leverage other people's network, collaborate with colleges, collaborate with, other companies which have, which can help you. So those are like cost-effective manners. Third is be out there, be present, like come in front of people again and again through social media and through whatever channel. It is important. Like there are multiple examples, like the example of MBA Chaiwala Praful is very good example. He is known because he is out there. Right? There are many other chai brands which were doing well, which were there from the very long time, but they were not, out there and people were not aware.
I think it's also his name, right? Like a catchy name, MBA Chaiwala.
Yeah, that is true. But same Anubhav, Chai Sutta Bar Wala has also been able to do. Yeah. Because he's out there, he's leveraging social media, which does not involve a lot of money. True. So do
being
those
out
things.
there also.
Yeah.
And so if a startup founder is there, we mentioned about like social entrepreneurship and everything. Is this the same thing for other brands as well? Like what do you think, what are the key things that you would advise a startup founder? Like, I mean, I know like you can't really say you need to know about the industry as well, but if you could give like certain tips to a founder, what would you suggest?
Yes. So anyone who is just starting up, right? A young founder or a student turning entrepreneur, right? The number one thing is build frugally. Okay. Right. Try to leverage no-code tools, right? People invest a lot of time in the beginning on superfluous thing. Yeah. I'll give you an example. When any student entrepreneur, young entrepreneurs try to build a startup, what they focus on, number one, build a beautiful website, spend $1 lakh or $2 even more than that, and build a social media page and update their LinkedIn.
Founder.
Right. which you should not do. Right? That is something you should not do. Build frugally and focus on right things that will drive business. That
What do you
will
mean?
actually give business. I will give you an example with Growth School. When we started, we do not even had a website. We just had a placeholder where we had just stickers of our programs. We do not had a social media page or a team.
Were your courses like online courses or were they like Zoom courses? Like,
yeah, they were online courses.
Achha.
But we do not had a social media page where we were putting content.
Achha.
That was not our acquisition channel. That would just give us validation and like focus on things that will not drive a business. So we focused on building a great product. We focused on driving traction, which was paid marketing for us. If we do not had money for paid marketing, then we would have focused on social media marketing and building a social media page. For us, it was superfluous. For other, it could be a channel. So if it makes sense for you, then make it. Focus on that. It was not making sense. So in the beginning, build frugally and focus on things that will drive business, which is build a great product, build a great experience, listen to your customers, and drive traction, build, acquire, whatever channel makes sense for you. So that was the first advice. Build frugally, leverage no-code tools. Second is don't throw people at problems.
What do you mean?
Which means, like, if you have to solve a problem, try to solve it using tech, using agencies or freelancers. Don't go on hiring people.
Got it.
So hire mindfully.
Got it.
Right? Don't hire mindlessly. Right? It will increase the cost and like you have not even figured out the product or product market fit. That leads to cycle, lower profit, lot of cost, all of that. So you have to manage your cost. For that, you have to, don't hire unnecessarily. If you can initially solve that problem just by having an intern or just by delegating it to agency or freelancer, which is not adding a consistent cost to your business, or if you can leverage a tool to solve, nothing better than that. And if you think there is not any tool to solve that problem, you are wrong. There is a tool built for everything.
For everything.
Right? So that is the second advice. And the third advice would be experiment a lot. Right? In the beginning, you have thought of this is what would work. Right? And you will say, this is the only thing that would work. You will die. You will not be able to build a business. You need to keep experimenting.
Keep pivoting also, right?
Exactly.
Like something will work in the pivot.
Yes, exactly. And for that, you need to keep experimenting. You will only know what will work when you experiment. Right? So that is very, very important. And the fourth thing I will say is leverage data. Right? Have a balance of gut and data.
Got it.
Right? Use your gut to say no and use data to say yes. Right. So those four things I'll say.
Perfect. Tell me this, Abhi. Since you mentioned about like these steps that founders can take to ensure that they grow, but we hear so many times, right? Initially people can't, people should focus on scale or focus on profitability. Do you think there is it like always a trade-off? Can you focus on both at the same time? Is that possible? Or do you think like people should focus on one particular thing? What's your thoughts on that?
Both are possible.
Okay.
Right. Like in my growth school journey as well, we were scaling, we were profitable as well. But then it depends upon what is your priority. If you are a bootstrap business, then you have to focus on profitability. There is no choice. Right? But if you are funded startup, then you have more risk appetite. Then you can choose whether you want to be profitable from day one and continue to be that, or you want to scale first and put things on future, that in future will become profitable, in future things will make sense, which most of the people do, right? So that is possible when you are funded. At that time you can make a choice, right? But if you are bootstrap, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, true. And say if there's what are some three key learnings that you have had in your journey that you would like to share with say a student and a student who's trying to break into this role, right? Growth marketing role and marketing role in general. What are some learnings that you've had and what are some things that you would advise them to do?
Someone who is trying to build their career or start their career in marketing.
They're interested. Say me or you years ago, if you met an Uttam when he was starting, when he was in his say a commerce course and he was thinking, I'm interested in marketing but I'm not sure what to do now. What would you advise?
Step number one is try to of marketers just to get a perspective what it means to be a marketer and how their job looks like. Because when you think of becoming anything, you have certain imagination. For example, I think about becoming a pilot, but if I don't know what it takes and how does it actually feel like becoming a pilot, then I'll probably choose something which I would not want to do, right? The same which happened with me. I thought of becoming a CA, but when I went to college, talked to people, I realized this is something which I don't want to do, right? So the number one thing is talk to a lot of people, understand how the job actually looks like. Step number 2 is when you actually validate your idea of becoming a marketer, then start doing one course from YouTube or maybe take from anywhere to understand the breadth of marketing, right? Marketing is broad. It has a lot of things. So firstly, you need to understand what all it encompasses, right? So take a digital marketing course. That way you will get to understand what is SEO, what is content marketing, what is social media marketing. You will learn a little bit of everything. That will make you realize that, all right, here are 2-3 things which I think I would be interested in. So once you explore the breadth, then go into depth. Then pick 2 things and go into depth. While you are going into depth, start executing. Because just binge watching videos won't make you learn marketing, won't take you anywhere. So start executing things. Now, how do you execute? Because if I'm giving advice to a 18-year-old Uttam who is trying to get into marketing, the question would be, I don't have opportunities. Or anyone who is sitting in tier 2 city or tier 2 college who is not exposed to a lot of opportunity, how can I, execute things while I'm learning any skill? So there are multiple ways. First is easiest is you start something of your own. Start your social media page. Save 2,000 rupees and start running ads, right? Build a YouTube channel, start creating content, do something on your own, right? Make a website, start writing blogs and do the SEO on that, right? Do something of your own. That is the easiest way. Second is find people around you in your family, relative or friend circle. If you can help in any way, if your friend has any project, you tell him that I can help you with the marketing in this way. If you have a relative who is doing a local business or anything, you can help them by taking it online, right? That is the second way. The third step is you can go to LinkedIn or any, freelancing website where you can get some freelancing work, right? So that is how you can find opportunities to execute.
So you would say first is to talk to people and understand the roles. Second would be to learn. And third would be even if it's an internship or whatever, get opportunity so that you get experience, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect. And are there any books or some courses or something that you would suggest? Of course, Growth School is one course. Yeah. But are there anything else? What would you suggest that people can do, people can go for?
If you are interested in growth hacking just to understand this, then Growth Hacking by Sean Ellis is a good start to know what it is and how growth hackers work and operate. For entrepreneurs, I really like Minimalistic Entrepreneur by Sahil. So that helps you learn how to build profitable business frugally. In books that I like. For learning, you should start with YouTube. I will not even say Growth School, right? YouTube already has a lot of content and I have seen students spending 30, 40, 50,000 rupees when they don't even know that they will use it or they are interested in something, right? YouTube has a lot of playlists in Hindi and English. So start learning from YouTube. Once you realize, isme interest hai, thoda acha lag raha hai, then go and get a course, then go and find a mentor who can teach you things.
Makes sense. And so let's talk about so you mentioned about networking and everything, right? As a student, you said initially go and talk to marketers and everything. How does a student do that, especially a student in tier 2, tier 3 cities? I'm sure there are not many well-versed people out there, right? So what would you suggest, this thing that they do to network better, or how do you even network? How do you even go about it?
First thing is, as I have been referring it again and again, expose yourself, talk to a lot of people. I'll start with that and then I'll tell you how to network.
Got it.
Right? So how do you expose yourself and just talk to a lot of people? I started with events where I was going and I was trying to talk to people. If that is not possible for you, then go to LinkedIn. Like I started with
So
LinkedIn.
events in the sense like conferences, tech conferences and all? Okay.
Yes. If you are able to, if in your college, I'm sure in whatever college you are, some events must be happening. Be proactive, right? Stand 1 hour extra after the event and go to talk to that person, right?
Yeah.
Just do not go with your friends to club right after that event finishes, right? So do that. In those events, if you can in any way find an opportunity. I used to stay an hour after the event, just kept standing there, nag the speaker that I need to talk to you because I really wanted to, right?
Yeah.
So if you are curious, if you put in efforts, those events and all of that can be a good place to just talk to people. Second is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Make a profile. The internet is a free university where you can meet anyone and everyone. Make a LinkedIn profile, optimize it. You can Google that as well, how to do that, and start reaching out to people. Message 100 people, 5 will respond, 1 will talk. Like this will be more better, but you will get opportunity. It's not like you cannot reach out to people.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Even if you are sitting in a room in a city like Gorakhpur or a city like Varanasi, if you are not exposed to a lot of opportunities, right? That is how you can meet a lot of people, which will open your mind. Now, in my journey, I've realized networking, you cannot just do like that. Networking is a value exchange. So to build a network, you need to be a person of value. Right? You are talking to me because you feel I can bring some value. I'm talking to you because I feel you can bring some value. Right? If you try to build a network, then through certain way you need to bring some value on the table, offer something, right? And that can happen when you learn certain skills. So that skill becomes your value proposal. So that you can only build a network if you have
So when
value.
you said like reach out to people on LinkedIn, like for example, if a student wants to ask something, like what value prop would you suggest they can showcase to like even like start messaging or start interacting with them?
Initially you won't be able to bring value. That's why I said just start talking to people. After you learn a skill and do something, then you can bring value.
Correct.
Right? So in the beginning, when you don't have anything to offer, you can just ask for help.
Got it.
How I used to reach out to people, I used to say, hey Rakshit, I see you are doing pretty well in your job in the marketing field. And I'm also interested in the same field. I would love to, talk to you and learn more from you.
Got it.
Just saying that.
The important thing is please don't mess up with the name and with the things, because I've got so many messages with like, hi Uttam, like I would like to be connected with you because I like the work you're doing. I'm not Uttam. I reply to them, I'm not Uttam. Bye.
So when you are trying to reach out, personalize the messages the way you can do it. Whatever the person has done in his career, mention that. I see you have worked at Ogilvy and you have done great work. I would love to talk to you and learn more about it. That could be one way. Or just go to their profile, and if they are creating some content, appreciate it. Everyone loves validation and appreciation, right? Talk about, I saw your recent post, really like the perspective that you share, would love to connect and learn more from you. Right? Initially, just appreciate, ask for help when you don't have anything to offer. Later on, you will be able to build network with the same people if you have something to offer. Right? Once you connect, you can say, do you need any help with content writing and content creation? I can help you. Right? Even like when I connected with Vaibhav, I connected in the same way. Like that is an interesting story. I connected with him. I wanted to help him. The intention was to help him, and that's how he got to know. And he said, "Dude, like, would you like to work with me?"
What do you say to him? Help him with what?
So what happened was, in COVID, when COVID hit, he started his LinkedIn workshop. Right, just because he was bored. He's a hustler, so he was getting bored at his place. He thought to teach people. Now he thought, what should I teach? He knew LinkedIn. He started teaching about LinkedIn, and I was in the first batch as a student. And Growth School is a product of LinkedIn workshop because that's how he got the idea. So I was part of that LinkedIn workshop, and he started that just with a Facebook group, not having any learning dashboard or things like that. 200 people were there. He was taking live session, and on day 3 of the workshop, someone said, well, why don't you give certificate to people? He said, that's a great idea. That's a great value addition to people. But it is a great pain to make 200 certificates. I cannot do that. And I knew how to do that on Photoshop, automating.
Design skills helped you.
Right? I didn't know how it will help, but it helped. Right? I knew how to automate. I just commented. I know how to do it on scale. I can help you. He said, sure, just ping me on WhatsApp. So instead of just pinging him that's how you can do it, I made a full video of 5 minutes and a tutorial sharing how he can do it.
Perfect.
That was just with a pure intention to help him, not to get anything out of him.
Yeah.
And he got pretty impressed. He said, dude, this is insane. How did you do it? Would you like to join my team? And it was 2 a.m. at night.
Yeah.
I said, absolutely, I would love to work with you. And that's how it started.
Wow. So, I mean, like, going back to the initial conversation that we had, like, where we were speaking about, like, how building and exposing yourself, how it can add value later in your life. This is how.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So, tell me about, like, you've seen a lot of marketing campaigns. You've been in marketing for so long and everything, and like all these startups and everything as well. Like, we are in HSR, there's so many startups around. So what are some of your best campaigns or like best strategies that you've liked, and what about it did you like? Like, what is the strategy that you like the most, stood out to you?
Personally, that I have done, or
Personally, no, that you've done also could be like, I mean, like something that you've seen other brands also do.
So I'll start with one campaign I personally executed was related to Web3 at Grow School. We thought to launch a Web3 program to educate people for free, right? Not charge anything. And our goal was to reach 10,000 people. And I did viral marketing to launch that campaign. And the goal was 10,000 and we finished at 75,000.
Okay.
So that was a huge success. I love it. I did a lot of hustle for like 20-25 days.
How long ago was this?
That campaign ran for like a month.
No, when was this? When
it happened around June. It happened
this
around
year?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
June. Right. So that is pretty close to my heart. I had put in a lot of efforts to make it a success and launch it. For 20-25 days, I was like just hustling and putting effort, and that is very close.
I mean, when you saw it hit 10K, you were like, oh shit, that is quick. Let me go for more.
Yes.
Right?
And it worked pretty well. Right. That was one campaign. Now, the one I said, the brand jingle for Arogya, it's very close to my heart.
Yeah.
Because still, when I listen and I was telling, I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Because it was for a cause, right? Helping people, and we built something. So that is very close. And recently I executed a campaign called Marketing Marathon, right? Where also I applied some growth hacks and growth loops and viral marketing. Our goal was X, and we reached that X in 24 hours. Right. And the campaign ended with 5X results.
When, like, how long was this campaign for?
So total, like we reached our target in 24 hours, right?
But initially,
and
like,
it was a 7-day thing, right? In 7 days, I got the 5X results.
Wow.
So that was very interesting. Apart from what I have done, I really like the Creds IPL campaign. The reason was they actually focused a lot on human psychology. They hit that nostalgia chord, right? They brought in Ravi Shastri, they brought in Govinda and Bappi Lahiri, Jackie Shroff, all of those people, which struck their TG, right? The TG who are, top 1%, who make a lot of money and who are little older.
Even this guy, Rahul Dravid.
Right? So I really like that because they use psychology really well. In one of my recent content on Instagram, video content, I also explained this strategy. They used inverse behavior strategy where they put in a normal person in an inverse situation. Like, you have not seen Rahul Dravid angry ever. They made him angry. So that made people to notice it, right? And share it with others. See Rahul Dravid, he's getting angry, right? That resulted in shareability, right? More shares, that led to virality. So, like, that is what AIB used to do as well. Like, they used to bring people and do random things which you have not seen.
Alia Bhatt push-ups and all that, like exercise challenge.
Exactly. So that is inverse behavior strategy.
And like you mentioned about these results that you got with Growth School, right? Like, what was your strategy behind that? Like, I mean, what did you apply? You mentioned about this inverse psychology. And you mentioned about how Cred targets the right TG by using these behavioral and psychological strategies. What did you apply? Like, I mean,
yes. So my process of doing those campaigns was, first I put down my target, what is my goal, and then I work backwards. So if my target is 10K, what all can I do to achieve 10K, right? I write down all possible ideas, right? So first step is write down your goal and think of all the ideas you can execute, right? You will get 10 ideas. Then I rank the ideas basis of how much impact and result any idea can drive. So I pick 2-3 ideas and execute on that, right? Now in that process, I leverage lot of tools, lot of viral marketing hacks and tools, and I also leverage psychology, right? As I said, I'm very observational. I apply that observational skill of human psychology in my content creation, in whatever I do. I think about where I'm executing it and how people behave in that environment, in that place. If I'm executing something on LinkedIn, I'll think about how people behave on LinkedIn, what makes them do certain actions, right? If I'm operating on Instagram, I think about how the platform works and how people work. And then I leverage that to,
That's something that I tell all, like, I mean, not just creators, but anybody who asks me, like, I mean, how to beat the algorithm. And like, instead of trying to beat the algorithm, understand people and make your content for the people.
Correct.
Because irrespective of the platform, if the content is something that will appeal to people, it'll go viral on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere.
Yes.
But it just depends on the content, right? So focusing more on content rather than time and algorithm, those will help. But if you do make the content for people, it will do much better. Right? And like you mentioned about like these viral hacks and everything that you use, like how do people learn these viral hacks? Like, I mean, what do you suggest?
You can find a mentor, find courses, right? That is the easiest way. For me, I learned a lot by executing things. I am curious, so I try to find people. So if you ask me what is my number one skill, I'll not name any marketing skill. I'll tell the ability to find solutions and answers to my problem is my number one skill. You throw a problem at me and I will find a solution, right? That is called a figuring out mindset.
Got it.
Right? So that helps me a lot, right? That you have to build in some time if you want to become a growth marketer, helps a lot. But to start with, you can find a mentor who has done that thing and learn from him, because that will cut short your journey.
Mentor as well?
For me, I have been working with Vaibhav, so that has helped me a lot. He has taught me a lot, and it has improved my thought process a lot, as I said, right? So I don't have he has never sat and taught me anything as such, but just by working together, I have learned a lot.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, now let's talk about creation, right? Because you've also been creating a lot. You've been helping people with you started Growth School with a LinkedIn course, right? I mean, so what are your goals with respect to creating on LinkedIn? Why are you creating? Or not just on LinkedIn, anywhere?
My goal is to build leverage and distribution.
Okay.
See, in our today's world, leverage can only be built by two things: media or money, right? And if you are smart enough, you can use the other to build the other thing. For example, if you have a lot of money, if you are Adani, you can build media.
Yeah.
Right?
Buy media.
I'll not say that. Right? So, and if you have media, which is distribution, then you can make money. Right? That is what a lot of creators have been able to do. Right? And that is how we were able to build our business as well, just because we had distribution. Distribution in today's world is powerful. Yeah. Just like Greek philosopher Archimedes said, give me a lever and a falcon to place it and I'll move the world. Yeah. Right? Distribution is that lever in today's world. If you have distribution, you can make money, you can launch your products, you can launch your startup, you can, meet people. If you have distribution, message anyone and he will respond.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So that is
not just this thing, they'll respond, you will get opportunities inbound also.
Correct.
Right? And who are some of your favorite creators and what did you like about their growth? Let's talk about the growth aspect of them and what about their marketing or growth or their content strategy did you like a lot?
So the number one first creator is Justin Welsh.
Okay.
He's pretty famous on LinkedIn, right? He has been able to build a $1.5 million business as a solopreneur just by writing on LinkedIn and Twitter.
Okay.
So I really like that. That shows people the potential of building distribution just by writing, not even being on YouTube or video, right? So I really like him. He's a very smart creator. The second one is Dan Co.
Okay.
Right? He writes about personal growth, productivity, but he has also been able to build a 100K or 200K dollar business just by writing and being a solopreneur. I really like that. And the third person I really like is Matt Gray.
Okay.
Matt Gray is popular on LinkedIn and Twitter, and he's also a smart creator, right? He also talks a lot about that. You need to understand human psychology as opposed to like algorithm and anything like that.
Any Indian YouTubers or like any Indian creators that you like because after the pandemic, so many people have like blown up, right? So what struck out?
Yeah, I really like Finance with Sharon.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason. I've spoken with him, I've met him. He's a very smart creator,
Okay.
right? People and creators basically who understand the possibilities of distribution and are able to leverage it, and who treat their distribution and their creator journey like an entrepreneur, like a business, like a startup. I love them, right? Tanmay Bhatt is a great example as well. He treats his YouTube channel as a startup, right? He applies a lot of psychology and has made an asset out of it. So that's why I like both of them. They think about creator funnel. Like I think about creator funnel. Creator funnel is like you are getting a traction and you have a strategy how you can, monetize that.
Got it.
Right? So these people,
top level, and then like
yes,
them.
These people understand that. So that's why I like.
How's Sharan doing that? Because I know Tanmay is doing that, like with all of these things, like.
Yeah. So even if you observe from like distance what all things he is doing, you will realize how smart he is.
Yeah, I saw like today or yesterday I saw the post by Ayush and Sharan that they invested in Burma, right? Finnet invested. And I was like, wow, okay, that's crazy. Like this is the power of distribution.
Yes. So the reason why he's smart, if you think about it, he got the distribution. He became like, he reached 2 million on Instagram. He started repurposing the same content on YouTube. Grew to 1.3, 1.4 million. He started newsletter so that he can own the distribution. Now, for his newsletter, he also sends people reminder on WhatsApp, right? So that people actually open it, because a lot of people don't open their emails. So that is smart. You are thinking about people, how people operate. That is what I was talking about. Think about where people most spend their time, right? WhatsApp. So that is what he does. So we applied something similar before he did it in growth school as well.
Okay.
I thought about we have workshop and courses and programs, right? And we wanted to increase the show up rate, right? More people should come on. Like if 100 people sign up, not everyone shows up, right? We wanted to increase that rate. And we were sending emails and WhatsApp messages already. We thought, what could be next? How can we increase the show up from 70% to 80-85%? I realized everyone stays on their phone and everyone like picks up a call. What if we call people and remind them, right? So we started this experiment just by calling 100 people.
Automated calls or like manually calling?
Yeah. So we started with manual calls. We just to experiment, right?
Yeah.
So experiment has to be fast, right? So we started calling people, called 100 people. It increased the show up from 70 to 80-85% people. That's great. This experiment is working.
Yeah.
Now we need to figure out how can we scale. If it's not a scalable growth hack, then it is not useful. So we implemented automated calls, right? So we figured out where people spend their time, how do they operate, and we implemented.
Damn cool. Okay. Now, tell me about like what learning you've had as a creator.
As a creator, my learning has been it is important to have a monetization strategy, right? It is important to know your why. It is important to build your system and processes so that you can consistently do. And it's important to talk to other creators.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason for all of these things is when you have a strong why, creator journey is very difficult. It's very lonely, right? If you don't know why you are doing, then you will stop at certain point.
Exactly.
Since it's a lonely and tough journey, you need to talk to other people so that you feel like you are not the only person doing it. And monetization strategy is important. Just like in a startup or any idea, you need to know how you will make money. You need to know. As a creator as well. As I said, you need to treat your creator journey as a startup person.
True.
So if you don't have a monetization strategy, you won't see any value add, substantial add to your life after a time.
Yeah.
Right? If it is bringing some monetary value to your life, you'll continue to do it. Right?
Exactly.
So that is important. And system and processes help you do things consistently, whether it's a startup or as a creator. So it is important to build playbooks, build systems, and delegate things, build a team.
Delegation is very, very important. Right?
Yeah. So those are my learnings.
Perfect. And the final question, like what's something that you would like learning, or like some tips that you would give to budding creators, or like creators who are very new, or who are people who are interested in like starting the creation journey? What are some tips that you would give them?
Yes. Number one tip I'll give is take the first step.
Okay.
Taking the first step is the toughest. But when you take the first step, you realize it is not as scary as you thought it was. And then you also realize that you start enjoying that process, which you were scared of, right? So take the first step. Second is remove the spotlight effect. In the beginning, you think about everyone is just waiting for you to come out and judge you. It's not that. People have their lives and no one is like, just sitting there to judge you. So remove the spotlight effect. Nobody cares. Just be out there, show up there, right? That is the second thing. And the third step is focus on quantity first and quality later on.
Okay.
Lot of people are perfectionists. So they, spend a month or 2, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months just to make things perfect, and I'll launch at that time, I'll write at that time. But just put anything, just start putting 2 lines a day. Just build that muscle, like how you do in gym. When you go to gym, you start by picking up a 2.5 kg bundle. So apply same on the creator journey. Start by writing 2 lines of content, right?
Don't go and pick up your 100 kg bundle at once.
Exactly. So those are the 3 things I'll say anyone who's
Perfect, man. Now, before we end, we always have a tradition wherein we play this game called Rapid Brew.
Okay.
Okay. I shuffle a few cards, and you pick some cards, and whatever question that you get, you have to answer in 12 seconds or less.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. So, oh shit. Okay. Yeah, you can.
Who's your favorite LinkedIn connection?
Yeah.
Creators I've already told.
Someone you've connected, not a creator, anyone. It could be anyone that you've connected with.
Sindhu Biswal is my favorite connection because I connected with him a long back when I just was trying to meet a lot of people, and since then I have known him and I have met him. So
got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Next.
What emoji do you use the most? Rocket emoji.
Okay.
You are not even working at a startup if you don't use rocket emoji. So yeah, rocket and fire.
Perfect. One more.
If you could work on any passion project, what it would be?
Yeah.
I'm already working on it. I'm writing a book on LinkedIn growth, right? Which I'm going to release soon. So I was thinking about it from a long time, but was not able to. So that is something I'm working on.
Last one.
What's your best time-saving hack to get things done? Build process, playbook, and delegate.
Brilliant. Okay. Awesome, man. It was lovely.
Awesome. I really loved it. I really loved the questions and depth of questions. It was making me think out loud. Right? I've not spoken about these things anywhere. So it made me think. I really liked it.
So, I mean, if people had to like find you, where do they find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, right? Very active there. They can find me on Instagram. They should, if they really want to connect, should message me on Instagram because LinkedIn is a madhouse. A lot of people message. Instagram, I've recently started creating content. So yeah, they can find me there.
Perfect. And if you want to find us, you can find us on Brew Your Market on all social media platforms. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Cheers.
Awesome.
See you in the next podcast. Bye-bye. Oh, that is whatever.